guys, and welcome back to Phat Pack Magic. We've got an awesome gameplay video for you today. It's match 3 of Adam's Jeskai midrange versus Chris Wong's Abzan value. Now we're gonna do a quick recap, but if you want to watch the video in its full slaughtery entirety, click this little title card here. So in game 1, Adam was able to grind out advantage with Jace Vryn's Prodigy, effectively digging through his deck while keeping Chris Wong off of creatures. A major point in the game was when Adam used his Fractured Identity to nuke Chris's Liliana, and then used that Liliana to strip Chris's hand of any remaining threats. Adam flipped over Inferno Titan end of turn with Shelldock Isle, and closed the game with a resounding attack. Game 2 proved much more difficult for Adam. Chris was able to get out that advantage with an early Lingering Souls, and Adam was unable to keep up with the tempo, especially when Chris dropped the game-defining Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, pumping out vampires, pumping out emblems, and stealing the game away oh so quickly. So now we're on to Game 3, and the best thing about Game 3 is that they both know what cards it's going to take to win. Adam takes a look at his opening hand and he's pretty okay with it. He says, good enough for me, let's go. Chris Wong's, on the other hand, is not as amazing. He's got a possible turn 2 Liliana, which is okay. The Mox definitely accelerates him a bit, but he says, you know what? I'm gonna keep this. This works for me. Unfortunately, he forgets that Adam gets to play first. Adam takes a look and he sees, man, that's a burn if I ever saw one. He's gotten burned by this Shelldock twice. First time was the Recruiter of the Guard, and this time was the Jace Vryn's Prodigy. The card that you want to not get with the Shelldock, but have with the Shelldock. However, Chris Wong looks like he's going to make an amazing play here. His turn 1 is going to be a Mox, fetch out Swamp. So he goes for a Swamp. And what is he going to follow up this Swamp with? He lays down BitterBlossom. That's right, folks. He's got a turn 1 BitterBlossom. Yeah, I feel bad for him right now. But he says, that's fine. I'm going to play an island and pass. He doesn't really have much to go off of here right now. But Chris is going to take a point and he's going to start making some BitterBlossom tokens. As soon as they can find them. There we go. So he's got BitterBlossom tokens. He's got himself set up. What is his turn 3 play again? Or turn 2? What is his turn 2 play again? He draws the Sorin. Man, that is a bite if I've ever seen one. Oof. Adam's gonna have a hard time following up these plays, because Chris is going to drop down a measly 1-2 that is now a 2-3 Tarmogoyf. Adam needs to kind of dig himself out of this hole he's got himself in. And it looks like he sees 2 lands and a Boros Signet. It's not what you want to draw with your Brainstorm, but he's got a fetch land that he can kind of shuffle away. Looks like he's gonna reorder those 2 cards though. He's gonna say, I'm gonna put the Mountain on the bottom and the Desertion on top. And he's gonna draw the Desertion for turn. Let's see, I kinda like the Reflector Mage here just to get a little bit of tempo and set Chris back a turn. But let's see what he's got. He's gonna opt for the Boros Signet, which is fine. I mean, it's gonna take him 1 turn quicker to use that Fractured Identity, which is a fine way to remove a BitterBlossom if I've ever seen one. But what he doesn't know is that in Chris's hand is a Sorin, and he's got the colors for it. Chris, playing a 3-color deck with the Mox, has all 4 colors on turn 3, and he's gonna swing in for a measly 3 damage. Adam says, I'm fine with that, no big deal. But Chris is gonna follow it up with a Sorin.
It never ends.
Let me tell you folks, Sorin emblems with BitterBlossom is pretty legit. Pumps out a 1/1 vampire, and Adam is thinking if he wants to fetch, or if he wants to draw that land on top. I think his main concern is the fact that he might not draw a land next turn. So he's going to say, you know, I'm going to draw that land. It's fine. Fetch. Ticks him down to 16. And he's going to pull out... probably Plateau. Yep, Plateau. I mean, that's fine to fetch with. I mean, he's got all of his colors now. He's good to go. He's ready to rumble. He's gonna pop out that Fracture Identity. Now, is he gonna go for the Sorin? No, he's gonna go for the Bitter-Blossom. Now, that's a risky move. But he's probably thinking just a little bit ahead, looking to make blockers with the Bitter-Blossom rather than the Sorin, because he has no access to flying at the moment. Chris untaps, goes to his draw. He's drawing lands. I mean, it looks like he's almost out of gas right now. Yep, he just has lands and a recurring Nightmare, which isn't gonna do much for him. But he also has a Liliana, so that's fine. Liliana's gonna come down and she's gonna rip something from his hand. Chris says, I'm gonna discard this Windswept Heath. I'm fine. Adam's asking a judge call about being able to char planeswalkers. I mean, telegraphing his hand a little bit, but you know, he says, okay, I'm gonna keep this char, and he's gonna discard Desertion, which doesn't look like it's gonna do him much good against Chris Wong's deck. But here, Chris is gonna make an emblem, and this emblem is dangerous because it suddenly anthemed his team, and that Tarmogoyf is pretty fat on its own. Chris is crashing in for 10 damage. Wow.
Skadoosh.
10 damage. Man, this is gonna hurt. Adam's like, well, first one was okay, but this one doesn't seem as good as okay. This is not as great. He's gonna take a point from the Bitter-Blossom and forget at the moment, but he's got the token coming. He'll remember here in a second, I'm sure. Yep, here we go. So he's got Bitter-Blossom. He's got 5 mana. And he's got to survive until the next turn to try and just get something back. Try and just stabilize against this horde. Because his Bitter-Blossom can trade with other fairy tokens. And Chris is running low on those. So there's a couple lines of play here that Adam can take. Looks like he's trying to make the decision. He's 1 mana short of a really good play that he wants to take. And unfortunately, that char is pretty dead in his hand. So he plays a Reflector Mage, bounces the Tarmogoyf, says, you're not going to play that next turn. You can play that turn after. And I guess he's having to make that hard decision of not being able to kill 2 tokens with Jilt. He's worried that he's going to get hit for something, maybe take 4, but he's got to be careful on this one. Because Liliana can make him sacrifice a creature, and that would have just been game over right there. And now Chris is deciding if he wants to cash in that Horizon Canopy and draw a card, and really press his advantage. His hand is pretty empty right now. He's got Recurring Nightmare, but nothing to recur. Doesn't have any Lingering Souls. That would really make the game happen right here. Chris decides, you know what, I'm going to cash in this land. I don't really need it. And you know what I'm going to draw? I'm going to draw land. That works. Adam's looking really shaky right here. Chris draws another land. Chris only has 2 creatures on the board, but he can make another one with that Sorin. He can make Adam sack a creature too. And with that Bitter-Blossom ticking at Adam's life total, Chris has the definite advantage here. Adam said, you know what? You better win faster or I'm gonna scoop. And Adam reveals the top card of his library. Oh man, all right, freeze right here. So that card that Adam flipped, Aurelia, is the perfect card for this kind of situation. Right now, he's at a life total of 5, and both of those tokens are potentially lethal hits with that Soren emblem. So he can 1-for-1 trade the BitterBlossom token and the Vampire token, or once he plays the Aurelia, he can give that BitterBlossom token enough gas to either hit out the Liliana and force a trade with Chris Wong's BitterBlossom token, or give the Reflector Mage Vigilance and then swing at one of the 2 Planeswalkers. Now, if Chris Wong does a double block, he's going to trade both of his tokens for his lone Reflector Mage. That would effectively clear the board, leaving Chris Wong with only a Tarmogoyf, while Adam has a lot of live draws in his deck like Bruise Toll, which would give his Aurelia Double Strike and Lifelink, effectively flipping this game around. And those BitterBlossom tokens, while taking 1 life a turn, are infinite chump blockers against the Tarmogoyf, while Adam would be able to put down pressure with his Aurelia and keep up the clock against Chris. Now, one thing that Adam said was basically he needed Chris to not be able to do anything for the remainder of the game. In retrospect, I don't think it was an easy scoop for Adam. There was potential for him to get that win. Now it's time to decide the match MVP card, and that award goes to Soren. Soren, for bringing out the army and for bringing in the emblems. Every game that Chris Wong won was on the back of a +1/+0 Soren emblem. So good job, Soren. You win the MVP of this match. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Please check out the next video. We've got more gameplay to come. But real quick, at 100 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a signature spellbook Jace edition. It's just a small way to say thank you for all the support that you've been giving me, and I really do appreciate it. So until next time, may all your packs be fat.